Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Cole. I'm with the Central Office Personnel, Payroll and Benefits Unit, and I'm the Payroll Manager. Today, I have brought forth an innovative idea, which is the 2020 Payroll Calculator. Now, you might be asking yourself, what's innovative about a calculator? I mean, doesn't everybody be able to use a calculator? It's not something that's necessarily brand new. Well, the thing is that it is innovative because it's new to IDOT, and two, other state agencies also didn't have something like this. The idea was brought forth when personnel was unable to show employees what effect changing withholdings would have on their pay. Additionally, the department's current mainframe system was being completely updated to calculate for the new withholding structure for 2020's federal W-4. A calculator was needed to verify that the payroll system was programmed with the programming changes would compute correctly once it was implemented. All agencies statewide have that same issue. What we decided to do at the Payroll and Benefits Unit was develop a payroll calculator that would provide employees with the to-the-penny estimates for changing their withholdings from the old W-4 to the new structure put out by the federal government for 2020. This enabled being able to see differences in changing deferred compensation and other taxable benefits, what effect this would have on an employee's pay. Also, this enables all the districts and central office timekeepers the ability to accurately show the employee their lump sum payouts and what kind of effect those would have on their withholding structure to try to maximize the amount, if they chose to put in deferred compensation to get them the closest amount to zero as possible. This tool enables the district and central office personnel to provide an enhanced service to employees who would like to know how making certain changes would affect their pay. This calculator was also shared with the Office of the Comptroller, which in turn shared it with other state agencies to help ensure the accuracy of payroll system programming changes. Now again, you see that many agencies did not have something just as simple as this. We was able to put this together so that it accurately, to the penny, calculates everything that is currently in the IDOT payroll system. With simple changes to someone that has a gross pay of $2187.50, a marital status is single, an old W-4, and withholdings at federal exemptions of zero and state exemptions of zero, you see that their federal tax withholding they are to be withheld is $251.80. With a simple change of changing that to the new W-4, we are able to in turn show you that under the new 2020 W-4, the amount of federal tax that's supposed to be withheld is $181.74. Now, making other changes, if you want to put in some money into deferred comp, $50. As you can see, this amount down here changes. Anywhere on our form, you can only fill in the blue shaded boxes. This way it keeps people from messing up any type of internal calculations on the form. And anywhere there's one of these red tick boxes, it tells the district or central office timekeeper what they need to do or input in that box. Now, if anybody should have any questions, hopefully they will reach out to the district or to the central office timekeepers now that you do know that we do have this enhanced feature. So that way, if you do want to make changes to your W-4, or if you want to see what happens when you increase your deferred compensation. Now, mind you, we are not tax specialists. and we can't give you tax advice. What we can give you is an estimate of those changes that you decide to make. We'll be able to show you those type of changes and what kind of tax burden or relief you will see when you make those changes. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Michael Aldridge, and I am the lab supervisor for metals and miscellaneous products at the Central Bureau of Materials. My idea for the 2020 Innovative Ideas Contest is a process called real-time sampling. Real-time sampling would be a way for trained IDOT inspectors to remotely visit out-of-state producer facilities for material sampling. When a contractor who has an IDOT contract decides to use an out-of-state producer for materials, the producer can now notify Central Bureau of Materials to set up real-time sampling inspections. After getting some information from the producer and inputting this information into the real-time sampling log, they will have a set of tamper-proof serialized tags, labels, or tape assigned to them depending on the size and material type. It will be the responsibility of the producer to pay for shipping of these labels to their facility by the means of prepaid envelopes, FedEx will call, or by us billing their UPS account. It is recommended before shipment of the tags that the IDOT inspector and the producer make sure that their mobile devices and connections are working properly and have the clarity needed to perform the inspection. The IDOT inspector will prepare a set of instructions and expectations to be included with the shipment of the tamper-proof tags to ensure the producer is ready for their real-time sampling inspection. After the producer has received the tags and instructions, the IDOT inspector will set up a real-time sampling inspection on an approved platform for communication like Cisco WebEx or FaceTime. During the real-time inspection, the IDOT inspector will be able to verify stockpiles of materials, certification paperwork, and select exactly what samples they want to obtain, ensuring no biasness during sampling. After the IDOT inspector has selected the samples to be sent in, they will watch the tamper-proof tags to be attached to the selected materials and the placement of those samples into appropriate shipping containers. The only thing left to do after this would be to have the producer send the samples to the Bureau of Materials, where we would start the process of testing. Real-time sampling has the potential to greatly speed up material sampling in a world where time is everything. This process could also allow producers across the nation to be more accessible to contractors, thus allowing the materials market to be more competitive and spending taxpayer money in more efficient ways. Thank you for considering my idea in this year's Innovative Ideas Contest.
This is Ahmad Nafak, an engineer in the DATE program currently in the Bureau of Programming, in my third rotation. In my second rotation, I was in the Bureau of Design, where I came up with this idea. Summary of the problem is the iterative process of generating proposed elevations in addition to a cumbersome plan preparation procedure used for designing sidewalks that meet PROAG, ATA, BDE, and departmental design standards and guidelines, consequently exhausting a considerable amount of resources otherwise utilized more productively. Also, the manual labeling process of the plan preparation stage of designing a sidewalk is a tedious process that is likely to generate errors, compromising the overall quality of the design. Such iterative process, coupled with manual labeling of the design, introduces a high margin for human error that negatively impacts the accuracy and overall integrity of the product. To solve this problem, in collaboration with the Bureau of Design and with my colleague Radslav Rutskovsky, we developed a new methodology for designing sidewalks. This methodology is composed of two main components. The first component is the development of the ADA automation tool, and the second component is the integration of the ADA automation tool with CAD. The iterative process is automated on a user-friendly interface utilizing Microsoft Excel, with Visual Basic coding in the background. The automation utilizes the computational power of the computer to generate proposed elevations for the proposed sidewalk in a fraction of the time otherwise exhausted by the user. The parameters, i.e. the design standards and guidelines, are specified by the user as an output, and the proposed elevations for the design are the output. Manual labeling is replaced with a semi-dynamic labeling, as we are calling it, which relies on design data generated by the ADA automation tool to generate labels, i.e. elevations and slope labels, for the design rather than an outside source that requires manual entry of each label. Dynamic labeling is conducted utilizing Civil Tools in MicroStation, which makes this method compatible with Open Road Designer, future-proofing it when the transition to 3D is in full swing. The ADA automation tool, accompanied with semi-dynamic labeling, saves a considerable amount of time, adapts easily to change, minimizes human error, and improves the overall quality of the design. Simply, this method reduces sidewalk design from 6 hours to about 3.5 hours conservatively. Since the Bureau of Design here in District 1 does about 2,000 ADA corners per year, the time saving is about 5,000 hours. Assuming a consultant rate of $200 per hour, this would translate to approximately $1 million cost savings per year just for District 1. Thank you for listening and have a great day.
Hi, I'm Paul Welch. I'm with the Bureau of Materials, District 1. We're going to be doing a lab inspection today. We print vast quantities of inspection forms at the start of the season for the multiple places that we visit. This is how we do lab inspection using the paper packets. We move from station to station. Sometimes you have unexpected obstacles in the way that add a lot more time to the process. At the end of the inspection, we ask the lab manager to sign the form. Then what we do is we leave a copy and place the packet in our file cabinets, which is taking up lots of space. And after a year, we place them in boxes and then ship them out to storage, which is no longer easily accessible, which you will see here in just a bit. We have been issued iPads, opening the door to a lot more options. No more packets, no more copies. We can now use the iPad, get signatures, and email on the spot. No more filing cabinets or offsite storage. We can now save to our network and access as we need.
Hello, my name is Matt Austin. I am an assistant resident engineer inspector with District 3, and my innovative idea for 2020 is a guardrail length of need calculator using Excel. The current method to determine the length of need for guardrail using the BDE manual is a nomograph solution, which has been pretty standard for a while. For any given hazard on a construction job, we have to print out a grid that looks something like this, and using rulers and pencils we have to graph given data from field inspections or other determinations to actually help us determine our length of need. There are a few areas for possible error in doing this, possibly with messy drawing, interpolation of the graph, and even after determining the values from the graph, there could be mathematical errors. My solution to kind of negate some of these errors and make this process more repeatable without having to draw a new graph for every single hazard in a construction job is to use an Excel spreadsheet to do a lot of the work for us. Taking a look at my spreadsheet, I've given different spots to address whether or not it's a one-way or two-way roadway, lane widths, whether or not there is a bridge, measuring the length of hazard, determining runout lengths, distance to the barrier, which would be most commonly your shoulder widths, clear zone distances, distances to the front hazard, and distances to the back of the hazard. And also a checkbox if it's a non-recoverable front slope for your hazard. This is all given data that you would also normally have if you're doing a nomograph solution. So entering it in Excel is no different than if you were prepping the work to do a nomograph solution. The difference is once we enter it in Excel, it's already determined all of the math for us and possible intercepts for approaching roadways, opposing roadways, depending on the scenario you've selected. And at the end, it automatically gives our answer. And the nice thing about having it in a spreadsheet, if you, like I said, if there was a different hazard and you needed to change some of these values, you could easily change the value. And without having to draw a new graph, you're already given new data at the end of the spreadsheet.
Hi, my name is Tom Rowland. I'm the Land Acquisition Engineer for IDOT District 3, and I have over 18 years of experience as the Programming Engineer.
Hi, I'm Ryan Lindenmeyer, Cost and Estimates Engineer for District 3. For 6.5 years, I assisted Tom with programming, and since August of 2019, I've been overseeing the day-to-day programming duties.
Every year, the state of Illinois updates its proposed highway improvement program. This is more commonly referred to as the multi-year program. And at this point in time, 9 IDOT districts do accomplish this. However, they do it with tools that they've created for themselves. Having said this, a tool system has not been developed yet that districts can use to develop a multi-year program in a consistent manner statewide. So we'd like to talk about the tools that we created at District 3. There are 3 primary tools. The first one is a very large Excel workbook file. It has several tabs in it. The first tab is in fact our multi-year program, and it is sorted by categories for resurfacing, non-interstate resurfacing, non-interstate structures, interstate, large intersection improvements and safety improvements, very large major construction improvements, as well as miscellaneous category line items. The second tab in our workbook is in fact all state structures that we are responsible for in our district, and this is even larger. This is what we use to help us determine our program candidates as well as priorities. Another tab that we developed is concerns interstate resurfacing projects. These are the associated structures within them that do not fit on the first spreadsheet. And each project we can see what these structures are, their conditions, and bridge-related cost. Two more tabs. This one is called the span list. It comes to us from the Bureau of Bridges and Structures. These are structures of concern that all districts statewide address. They are incorporated into our BAMs as well as our first spreadsheet, and we communicate to the bridge office every year about what our status is. This last one is for the Illinois Special Bridge Program. It calculates eligibility for all candidates. This year we just had one candidate. Our second tool is a self-explanatory GIS-based MYP map. We color code all of our proposed funding, national highway system routes, and the condition of existing highways. We label ADT and CRS, and we also show our MPO areas. This is what we use to help us determine resurfacing candidates for interstate and non-interstate. Final tool we have here is another Excel workbook file, and this is really more of an annual programming tool. This is what we call our letting analysis spreadsheet. This is the summary sheet for all projects that that go to letting throughout the year, and this is an example of one of the tabs for an individual letting where individual projects as well as all the contractors and their bids are laid out for us.
Over time, various enhancements have been incorporated within our tools using visual basic formulas and to automatically calculate such things as program estimates based on proposed resurfacing and structure dimensions, as well as TAMP criteria, conditional formatting for extensive color coding throughout our BAM spreadsheet, hyperlinks to core data and interstate resurfacing structure data and costs, automatic transfer and population of structure data from the BAM spreadsheet into our other tabs, eligibility for Illinois Special Bridge Program funds, and boilerplate improvement values used for program estimates taken from our letting analysis spreadsheet. This has resulted in greater efficiency, accuracy, and time savings for us with the multi-year and annual program development and tracking.
We've been using these tools now for over 15 years, and we have a great deal of confidence in the quality of the programs that we submit because of being able to utilize these tools.
Thank you for watching our topic, and feel free to contact either Tom or me if you'd like to learn more about our programming tools.
Hello, my name is Andrew Carmen, and this is the program myself and my coworker Tim Ferguson created to help alleviate the work required to process payments for our rest area maintainers. Our rest areas are maintained by contracted employees, and they have certain staffing requirements that they must meet every day. If they fail to meet these requirements, then we are supposed to deduct $200 per day on which a violation occurs. Previously, in order to verify that the requirements set forth in the contract had been met, we had to enter all of the time cards we received into an Excel spreadsheet and manually check line by line to see on which days, if any, an error occurred. Depending on the number of employees, this could be a very tedious process. Unfortunately, since some of our rest areas use punch cards, the process of entering the time card data into an Excel spreadsheet can't really be avoided. However, the part that takes a long time and is pretty tedious, which is checking the data for errors, can be. With this program, much of the work has been automated. One thing that caused issues was making sure that we ourselves didn't make any errors when checking the data. The automation process eliminates that possibility and any time that would have been spent double checking that work and correcting any mistakes made. On this first page of the workbook, you'll find our data entry, where you will place the names of your employees and managers, as well as the name of your rest area, and the amount billed to the state for the given month. You can also find information regarding contract compliance, and each of these boxes has a pop-up which will assist the user in knowing what to put in these boxes. If this is the first time using the program, you'll enter the hours for the end of the previous month for the supervisor into this box here on the right. This has to do with splitting a work week Monday to Sunday over the transition from month to month. Once you've used the program once, this process is automatic. You can also select the month from the drop-down menu, as well as enter the year in this box here. I've gone ahead and entered some test data in here, and as you can see, the schedule and the deductions list are still blank. The deductions report doesn't have much information except for the amount billed to the state and today's date. If you return to this first page and you hit Update Schedule, it will prompt the user to know that if you've already created a schedule, this will clear any existing data since the schedule is rebuilt each time. But we're sure that we want to continue, so we're going to hit Yes. Here you can see the schedule that's been created. It has alphabetized all of the employees and separated the manager from the regular workers. I've gone ahead and entered in the time card data for this month. So if we return to the first sheet, we can now create the report. Here we'll find line by line each of the days on which there was a violation. As you can see, there were 2 different violations on the 17th. Since we can only charge 1 violation per day, you'll notice there's a discrepancy between the total number of violations and the number of days with the violation. The amount to be deducted is calculated based on the total number of days with a violation. Returning to the deductions list, we can see that on the 10th, there were no males working in the morning. Let's assume, for instance, that the male who was supposed to come in and work his shift was in a car accident, and the supervisor was unable to get anyone else in time to cover the shift. If IDOT feels that this is a legitimate reason, double-clicking on any of the errors on the right will cancel that error. You can see here that it has reduced each of the total number of violations and the number of days with a violation by 1, as well as the amount to be deducted, which is calculated based on this amount here, multiplied by this amount here. This sheet provides a breakdown of each of the violations that could have occurred and the total number of that violation, as well as the billing cycle and the current date. Final payment is calculated based on the information entered in the employee data sheet general information section here. As you can see, since we've created the report, the hours to be rolled over into next month have automatically been filled in, as well as the names having been organized alphabetically and any white space having been removed. Once we are ready, we can print the report. This will create a PDF of each of the pages so that it can take up less space on the computer hard drives, since the program is rather large. It's advised that each month be saved as a PDF, which can be printed individually by page or as a whole. The pages have also been organized by 11 by 17s for the spreadsheets and an 8.5 by 11 for this final report. Returning to the spreadsheet, we can change the month now to February. If we update schedule again, it will remind the user that the data that's currently in the schedule will be cleared. As you can see, the weeks are broken up Monday to Sunday. The 1st and 2nd of February 2020 was a Sunday and a Saturday, so that was the end of the first work week. That's why the 32 hours from the previous month are important, to know that the supervisor only has to work one of these 2 days in order to meet the 40-hour minimum requirement. So, that's all there is for this program. Thank you for watching, and we hope that this will be able to assist operations staff around the state.
Alright, hello everyone. I'm Jay Wavering with District 6, and today I'm going to present to you D6's solution to the paper pre-final plan circulation process. I'm sure the majority of folks are familiar with the cumbersome current process that is in place, which is especially time consuming for designers. So what we came up with is essentially an electronic circulation process that utilizes Microsoft Office products, specifically Microsoft Teams, and in conjunction with the use of Adobe DC. I guess one of the biggest advantages I can see about this process is that it utilizes software that we already have in place. So how does it work, one might ask? I'll kind of walk you through a quick demo here. First, the designer would create the electronic files, project files, for all the PS&E documents needed for circulation. And this is similar to all the documents that you see here. So these are uploaded to a centralized location. It is cloud-based, and it utilizes Microsoft Teams to allow for collaboration. Once the files are uploaded to the site, then the files are shared to all those that need to review the plans. And this is done simply by clicking this share folder and entering the name of the email addresses. So I'll enter my name here. Click here. We already have a predetermined list of folks that review plans. Once those folks are added, then the link is sent. This allows everyone to get access to the files and to begin their reviews, and gives them the ability to add their comments. So you'll also notice that within this file we have a planned circulation comments file. This is a OneNote file that utilizes like I was saying, OneNote, and it is set up kind of as an organizational tool to help with those reviewing plans. So we've got 3 tabs set up here. If you'll notice, we'll have program development, project implementation, and operations. And then there's a list of folks here that essentially would have a chance to review the plans and special provisions, things of that nature. So as you can see from this example here, our PD engineer has added some comments that are in regards to the plans, and if you'll also notice, the text that is written in red here is how the comment was addressed. This is all live information, and everyone who has access to the folder can see what comments have been made, who made the comments, and then ultimately how they've been addressed. You can also, another advantage to this is you can also edit or add comments to plan sheets, and this can be done if I go back to the original file folder. The pre-final plans are in PDF format. If you click on that there, the PDF link, this will take you to the actual plans, and you can see by the red there that those are the comments that were added in regards to the various sheets. You can also, through the use of Adobe, see who made those comments on the right hand side of the screen here, and then also gives you the ability for how the comments were addressed by typing your response there. So in a nutshell, this is kind of our latest process that we've put in place. We have utilized this process for both the March and April lettings. Of course, with anything new, we've had some initial hurdles, but overall it has been very well received. Some of the benefits that we have experienced are hard copies are no longer required, which reduced the amount of paper used. Before, we were creating mountains and mountains of paper, especially with our larger projects. All D6 staff or district staff can make comments simultaneously, so you're not necessarily waiting on someone else to complete their reviews. Comments happen in real time. This is a huge benefit. It has improved the district review times. It's reduced the number of duplicate comments by allowing folks to see what others are commenting on, and it also has allowed team leaders to begin addressing those comments prior to the circulation deadline. So definitely some improved efficiencies there. The files can also be accessed remotely and for mobile devices, which makes it handy for those that are out in construction and not necessarily sitting at a desk. The shareable links can also be provided to consultants and others outside of IDOT. We have tried this with several consultants that are submitting plans for a letting, and we've had very good success with them and good feedback. The district also sees the potential to expand upon this initial concept and apply this to more than just plan circulation. By utilizing clouds-based services such as Microsoft Teams, it allows for early and ongoing collaboration across bureaus and even with consultants. Microsoft Teams has also the potential to provide a platform to share ideas, ask and respond to inquiries, provide insight, and coordinate and schedule in a centralized location while being controlled by the project manager. So there's definitely some room for improvement and growth. So that kind of summarizes our process that we have in place. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to share this with you. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop by our booth and we can show you this in a little greater detail. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kylie Gwaltney and I'm the construction engineer for District 6. Today I would like to go over some of the many advantages we have seen since we have started using the Teams SharePoint site for District 6 contract documentation. We decided to go with the Microsoft Team because A, it moves the district forward in achieving IDOT's goal of having a paperless construction project. B, the product is cloud-based and will allow our construction staff to have access to the files anytime they have internet access. C, it can be accessed using computers, laptops, tablets, and phones. D, the program is group owned. The system can be maintained even when an individual owner leaves the team. E, the product is available through Microsoft 365, which IDOT already uses. And F, the cost is minimal. District 6's team site allows for the clear and uniform method of record keeping. A contract template is set up for each contract as it is awarded. Included with this template are instructions in a OneNote file that shows what information belongs in each folder within the template. In addition, residents have the ability to customize or add folders within the template based on project specifics. The template and OneNote file also serve as a guide for new engineers and technicians. Also, access to the files is easily managed. One of the major benefits District 6 has seen is the ability to share and collaborate project files simultaneously. Real-time information can be accessed from anywhere and by multiple users. This has allowed us to make decisions in a more timely manner and increase efficiency on projects. Another benefit is the unification of project files. Having one file that is accessible to everyone involved within the project not only makes retrieving information quicker, it also eliminates redundancies and saves paper. District 6's team site system was designed to mimic the file system our residents currently use. This in turn has led to the quicker acceptance in moving forward to an electronic file system. Residents on construction projects have already been forced to reluctantly change to the new CMS system for contract management, providing them with a system that is familiar to them but still moving us closer to a paperless project is key. Finally, District 6's team allows us to audit and close out projects in a highly efficient manner. In addition, record retention is easily established in the site. This makes responding to FOIA requests much easier than the old system. District 6 has only scratched the surface of the many ways our team sites will improve our efficiency. The site offers communication tools that we have just now begun to explore. Every day our engineers and technicians are finding new ways the system can be used to share information, communicate with each other, and document projects. We are excited with how this system is working for us and are honored to be a finalist in the Innovative Idea Contest. Thank you.